chai ku makya n'omugaati, ajja kuwa lanchi, ajja kuwa ne sapa. Kati nga nze nkola ki? Bafuluma oluggi baluggala. Olugala neekikitanya nsike empale eno nengamba nze sisobola kusula nga ndi bwereere empale eno eri wansi ndi ku mpingu bwendi sitegeerawo kati neŋŋwana nnyo nensika empale eno. Katonda nanyamba pule eno neyambuka waggulu empale nesigala wano wakati wa kabina we bati naye nga pule yo Katonda nyambye eyambuse. Kakati Agatha nembeera awo neneebakawo ku buliri. Kati mba ndi awo ndowooza essaawa nga zigenderedde, omuvubuka addamu waggulawo. Muvubuka waggulawo ampa blanket. Akitaleeta blanket eyo yali ya Army Green ng'era eriko UPDF. Kati bwampa blanket aginteera awo angamba blanket yiyo ojja kwebika. Of course ngera sisobola kugyebika. Blanket ekyo nga nkikwata nga ndi ku mpingu, nga nkikwata nga nkyezizika, ngamba Mukama Katonda kankyezizike wano nteeke wano omutwe. Kakati ndi mu ruumu simanyi wawendi, ate ekiro ku ddinisa w'ekitanda kyali ku ddinisa, wabweru w'eddinisa ng'engatto zitambula ez'okumukumu ez'abajaasi, nga waliwo n'abajjako oba bakayita kujjako kabaati kaka oba bamu nga balinga bagipangira awo. Kati nga nisikani nga musajja takwate sasi n'aliisa mu kisenge muno naaga nfukumulira. Kati I think ndowooza yonna yali fear, kuteekamu fear. Era all those nights, the 5 nights ze namalawo, that was the same. Naye kakati ntuula awo munaye nebaka nga bw'omanyira Oluganda lwe tugamba nti era omala n'oyitirayo nebaka. Bandi awo ku makya omukulu aggulawo oluggi. Mu kuggulawo oluggi aleeta caayi n'omugaati. Kati ne ngamba apaana, sirina kye ngenda kulya, sijja kulya, sirina kye ngenda kulya wano. Biki bino bye bandeetedde bye sitategeera, ate ababindeetera bandazedde omutima, nange nga nkola omutwe ngamba sigenda kulya, nga mbeerawo awo. Ssaawa za lanchi zituuka, onanga tolidde, nga mugamba munaye seewulira kulya bulungi, ng'atwala ng'aleeta akawunga n'ebijanjaalo. Kati ngamba ndi ku mpingu, kati bwe naalya ngenda kweyamba ntya? Ekyo kye kyasooka okunzijira mu bwongo, nagaana okulya. Oluziba naye nga mpulira ekyenda kyetukuta, because already nali ndi ku treatment ya ulcers, nga mpulira ekyenda kyetukuta. Kati era olwo olunaku kati lwe ndaba ku Amaje ajja, that the second day Amaje ajja ng'ayambadde uniform nga muwanvu mu kujja nga ngamba Noah Mutwe, yo original name Mitala Noah, age ngamba 32, date of birth 13th of August 1994. Nga ngamba family members, your father nga muwamanya, your mother muwamanya, your wife nga muwamanya, the kids, how many kids do you have? Nga mugamba have 3 kids. Nga ngamba okay, so your password. Nga mugamba nkama wange esimu password esimu badde nakajiwa, so password mbadde sinagizaamu era nga ne musimu nakazaamu WhatsApp yokka, so mbadde sinnateekamu password ya simu. Kati I think ndowooza bo we batalaba mu password ne balowooza nti esimu bafunye nkyamu, naye ate ng'eno essimu gye balowooza nti nkyamu redde kwaliko calls ezikubibwa, ate ng'oledde namba ziri saved in. Kakati ne bambuuza ate the other MTN line, ngamba aka MTN line kaba mu mapeesa, era kamapeesa kabadde waawo. Ne magamba naye eno yessimu yange gyenkola ki gyenkozesa, so ne bangamba tuweeyo logins. Kakati ne bansaba logins nenzibawa nembawa.
Okay. No, I wanted us to just take a break a bit, and one, I want to say that Godwin Toko is here. I am very happy he's here because your story is very difficult for me to listen to. It's quite similar to what I went through 2 months ago. So for that, I'm glad that Godwin is here so that I don't have to be the one engaging with it. I'll listen, but not to engage. Second is that kate ino story ate oginyumya bulungi nnyo, but it is long. If there's a way we can summarize it, I would have loved for us to listen to it all night. Naye lwakuba twayise ne Yvette Kayingo, mbadde simanyi oba Godwin will say osooke onywamu ku mazzi. We listen a bit to Yvette and we get back to you to start from where they are asking for your logins.
You know, Agatha,
because
nange njagala bambi mukyala, because omukyala oyo omanyi kyayitamu. So what we can do, and summarize this, because the issue tusobola ogendako allegations za mirundi esatu. Then the second, omusajja n'akomawo omuwanvu nga wayiseewo olunaku olulala. That was the third day. Omusajja n'akomawo omuwanvu n'agamba lwaki watulimbye, lwaki watuwadde logins enfu, essimu eri endala eriwa. Ne bagamba essimu yeyo gye nkozesa. So then najjayo tab. Mu kujjayo tab, omusajja yankolako second interrogations. Mu kujjayo tab, then nalaba akantu kaliko my folder ngeriko Noah Mutwe. It was like a tab ngeriko Noah Mutwe n'atapingamu. So mwalimu like 8 clips nga scrolling about so far ze nasobola okulabako. Then waliwo video eyo gye yambuzaako gye nasembayo kola ya UPDF Amendment Act. So I was like nangamba mu family omulimu w'Amaje, nsonga z'Amaje ozaagaza ki, ozeyingizaamu ki, Amaje gaali gakuttidde ani, Bobi Wine alina ab'Amaje ki baakolagana nabo, olyokodde ku nsonga z'Amaje. Of course. So ekyo sijja kulaga nti nakinyonnyola nti cause video zaaliwo nga baziplayinga. Of course nakibaddiramu cause okujjako ekintu ekyankubya oluyi kwe kugamba General Museveni. You know, someone angamba, how can you address the president of this country like General Museveni, and then you address the weed smoker, you address the weed smoker, His Excellency. So remember, kyo kyankubya oluyi nangamba damu buto, can you address His Excellency again? Then naso nalina okuddamu nengamba President General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So then the next video was bannamawulire ba journalist abaakubwa ab'Amaje nga tuli mu Kawempe North by election. Eyo video gye nakola naye yagoyinga so viral. Ngamba ne bambuza goli munnamawulire olyoka otandika okulwanirira bannamawulire, otandika okwogerera bannamawulire, ayo journalist. So education naye yaliwo. Then the third yali ya Jati. Nti ani ampa information ogamba nti Jati ekwata abavubuka ba ghetto ne bambaza uniforms specifically General Damulira. Ne mbagamba no, kati nendeta ka reference kubawo nali brief nali mukaka munyonga manyi kyennyinyi ati waliwo musango. Nendeta ka reference nabagamba waliwo wa SFC omukyalo w'Amaje eyajja n'asikayo bana abajjati. Ne ngamba nenki munyonyola of course kubanze naka ideology. Ne mugamba Jati eri gundi eri elite eri organized eri combination okuva mu police force abakabyo okuva mu police force, okuva mu UPDF, okuva mu flying squad, kugamba security agencies enjawulo zibagenda bajjamu ne bakuŋŋaanya ne bafunamu akabinja ako, kitegeeza kaba experienced, kaba kamanyi kye kakola. Naye gamba nenze we nalaba nti omukyala ataasikayo baneeno abajjati ne mmanya nti these are not trained soldiers. Ekyo bwintu bwe nakinnyonnyola. Naye mala okinnyonnyola otyo omukulu eyali anzijjako interview eyo n'aseka. Kakati awelemanya Mukama Katonda awumpisizaawo. Then endala yali ya SF ya gundi obalumbalubo wa police station. Eyo naye yali issue ey'amaanyi nnyo. N'endala Major General Felix Kulaije we yavaayo n'agamba ffe banansi tetusobola kusurvivinga awatali bo. So we navaayo nga muchallenginga nga mugamba we Ugandans we can survive without you. Ate mwe temusobola kusurvivinga awatali ffe. Awo nawo waliwo gundi. So specifically kusummarizing the issue was bani abampa information eyo okuva munda ne mbagamba sirina mpa information kubanga nange kennyini sisobola keera kumacha nenzikiriza mu muntu gwe mmanyi nti wa intelligence mba mmanyi agenda kumpima, agenda kunkwata. Ne mbagamba kati sirina gundi n'omu ampa information omu era sirina officer yenna wenkwatagana naye. So someone oyo mwami nambuza nangamba what are your qualifications? Ne mugamba nze ndi wa senior 6 wa HSC. Na nangamba wakola ki? Ne mugamba nakola history, entrepreneurship, divinity, stroke ICT. Nangamba no, it can't be. Ni mugamba yes. Nangamba tosobola analyzing all these issues. Someone waliwo someone wakuwa information era akubulira nti yogera about nebote. Mugamba no. Ne mugamba afande. Inze mbeera ku media 24/7 ate ngoberera current affairs buli kimu kyonna nkimanyi. Sokweti kwe kungamba nangamba kakati mwe mugenda kufiira bwerere. Kakati simu eno giraba gwe goyita president we Bobi Wine yakoze post. Nicho wiroseni nyuno mulaba yakoze post. Kati bamanyi woli. Kati bajje bakukimewo wano. Baba tasobola na kutresinga wo woli. Nga tebalina namanyi ga kukimawo wano. Nagamba kati mweche muzanyirako temukimanyi. Nti Amaje go tegali wansi wa amateeka. Ne bangamba nyi fact ni wano ne wendi nsobola okuspendingawo ne weziba like 3 years nga mu kifaawo wendi ate ensi neerabira nga tebamanyi wa wendi ate nga tewali n'omu agenda backquestioninga wa wendi. Ekyo kyo yambulirawo frankly. Nangamba nti bo nga Amaje bali under the law, bali waggulu wa amateeka. So nangamba essaawa zino family yo eri mu kustrugglinga wabweru goli wano. Bobi Wine ye ati nnyonyi n'agenda n'abaana be bali bweru. Of course era ekyo bakituyisaamu because ekyo kyonna kibako to breaking down. Then ekirala interview yange yasembayo Agatha, that's the worst day jengendo okwerabira jesitagenda kwerabira mu bwange bonna era emotionally ekyanto kyalinga. There are some issues zetugenda otuuka nga really owulira toyagaloze eyalinge out okyogere like ogenda kubanga ati saba naffe abalala ne really kintu kibinyo kikola kyansonyi nnyo musajja munno okuddako n'atandiko n'akwambula bulungi nakujjako empingu bulungi n'akwambula n'atandika okutigatiga nga bwaseka omulala nga bwakwata katambi nga wagamba wanika emikono. Really ekintu ekyo kyampisiza ddala bubi. You're scared, oli mu fear. Omulala gamba wanika emikono bweti kyuka mu bwoti nyenya mu bwoti wakwatirire no bwati bwakurecordinga katambi. Really ekintu ekyo kyampisiza ddala bubi nnyo. Someone tasobola kuddawo n'atandika okuzannyirako nga musajja munno tubeerewako oluusi ne mukyalawo n'otuuka like not okubeera naked maaso ga mukyala go. Sincerely speaking is in my entire life niwe nali mu boarding section sakkirizaako bavubuka bane naye bagenda nga byangu kunaabira mu kirindi nze nga sinaabira mu kirindi naye like someone omaze like 5 days osuze ku mpingu emmere baagala ogiriire ku mpingu nze had to spend like 5 days nga sigenda manju kukola ekiyitibwa to defecate nga sisobola kugenda manju n'omusulo gwenda Katonda we yanyamba nti nfuukafuukako omusulo gwo gwonna gwasigalamu era in fact natuuke nateetawo ku police abandabako. I think they were disgusted kubanga nali mpunya bubi sisenyezaako akantu kali ke banyambaza nali ntonnyolokose nze neewulira bubi nga nze kennyini neewulira bubi nembeera ku mpingu nga nnakwebaka one sided cause empingu zino tebazirookinga the more gy'okomekereza ng'ozanyisa empingu zino zongera kunyiga zongera kumyumyula kitegeeza nti olina okwefaako n'oba mugezigezi neweefaako wokanoononya nti oba kati ngenda kwebaka bwenti ng'emikono ngigasa empanvu ye bwenti kaneebake bwentyo. So ekyo ekintu kyanto kyalinga emotionally mentally era nze Agatha mbadde mu prison for God's sake mbadde ndya kamonde ate nga nsoosaayo menvu nentuuka almost nga nina amalusu gano nga ngamirira kumukumu nga kwemiririra amalusu ninga nali sikirina nga ntuuka n'ekiro nga kati nga awo n'obwonga gugumuka ne weekanga like nga really it's totally too bad. Bano bannaffe tebandyeyisizza we batyo cause ekisooka kya byonna tetuli babbi tetuli batujju tetuli bakwasi b'abakyala tetutemula bantu tukano nti sobola kuvaayo nga tosobola na kuleeta video eraga nti nina omuntu gwenvumye Atulakulata video eraga nti nina obukyayi naye wabula ng'oŋŋamba bino byonna bye njogera nina kifo ki mu NUP, nina kifo ki NUP empe omusaala gwa mmeka, nina position ki gye neegwanyiza. Because it seems nti munnabyabufuzi politician wanaavaayo n'ayogera ku nsonga zino bo tekigenda kubalya era tekijja kubayisa bubi kubanga ekyo openire bakiŋŋamba ate nga n'amagezi gange nsobola okukisensinga. Because waleero ojja kunsanga nti ensonga zenjogera wano MP woti ze boogera wano toko ensonga zayogera wano ne bannabyabufuzi ze boogera. Naye lwaki nti munnabyabufuzi wanaavayo n'abaako statement gy'afulumya oba n'agamba obuli bw'enguzi busukkiridde, n'agamba mu malwaliro temuli ddala, bajja gamba oyo alina akafo ke yeegwanyiza, anoonya bibye, anoonya kalimu. So that's why nti ffe abatalina position yonna we tuvaayo ne tuvumirira okutyobola eddembe ly'obuntu, omuli bannamawulire, omuli bannabyabufuzi, omuli ba activists obw'enjawulo, ekyo tebakyagalira ddala, kibayisiza ddala. Because someone with next nangamba kakati gwe olwana anti-corruption cause akatambi, in fact nageza kuno manyo ne bagamba akatambi kubako nako bakandeta bangamba ani yakuwa akatambi kano akaba bakanga bagenda okwegabanyiza ssente ekiro, ani yakuwa akatambi kano ne bagamba akatambi nakajjako ex account ya Loop Joel Senyonyi n'enkashe yalinga ne bangamba nedda wano nga tulina message, in fact we bandetera twine former spokesperson wa CID ate nga abadde station ndi ku parliament, omusajja wesi meeting ngako gwesifunangako koolo naye yadde nti tu communicatinga wabula someone nakera ku macha nakulaga messages mu inbox nagamba wano tulaga yali akakasa nti ye yakuwa akatambi ako era ye yakalikodinga nembagamba whatever messages zili awo simanya ani yazisindika. Nembagamba naye omusajja simumanyi, simusisinkanangako era soogerangako naye wabula message we ziba zajja nina public page ate erwaningibwa ba admin, kitegeeza nze nsobola receiving messages naye ate sisobola genda mu inbox ya muntu. Kati nze oli waba yasindika message either ku admin bange ne bazibikola ne baziraba oba ne wabawo admin wange am respondinga. The issue is nina kye nasharinga, nina we nateeka wonna. Of course Agatha nga tewali. That's finally interrogations zange nezigwa with the worst experience eyo gye nasembayo funa nembeera ku mpingo ennaku 5 nga sinaabye olubuto olwesibye kulunaku bangamba n'okungamba akati wedde okaabo oyagala kweyamba tonagenda weyambe. Wallahi ya Mungu nagenda nensitama mbeeko kyensuulayo, nothing came out, tewali kyavaayo. Agatha kati I summarize mbawo those are the 5 days maliriza interrogation esembayo era omuvubuka oyo eyali ampe ekyokulya yangamba omanyi Noah Mutwe sigenda kuzzaako mpingo zino naye behave, you're safe inside here, you're not safe outside. Behave, don't touch anything. Nangamba tobikula kateni eyo. Of course nange nali linguistic nga njagala okubuuza wano wendi wa nga sinna tracinga wa wendi. Jukira dulido olunaku ndowooza lwali lwa Friday cause nawambibwa lwakuna, then olwokutaano waliyo ka night prayer kyonawulirako ku kizindaalo ng'omusumba agamba twanirize chairman w'ekyalo kino Kasenyi ako nakawulira kati nga mmanyi ndi Kasenyi naye nga sinna sensinga exactly wa wendi. Kati munnayo olwo lunaku nvuka nangamba sigenda kuzzaako mpingo kera namaze okweyonjako wali okweyambayamba, then nga nkolaki nga nzira ku buliri bwenti kakati mbikkula kwoyo omwami wagenda sawa zalinga bwali buwungera buti nga bugenda kuwungera buti mbikkula ngenda okubikkula bwenti ndaba ennyumba mwendi eriko ekikomera kipya, eriko electric fence ninge ekikomera kindaga kipya. Kati obusukka bw'ekikomera ekyo ngenda okulaba amazzi, then ngenda okulaba ne flaga y'eggwanga, then ngenda okulaba n'abajaasi ab'amagye nga bali ku drills. That's why we nategeera nti ndi mu barracks. So, Toko.
Noah, just a second. Good evening, everyone. I've just joined. This is a very harrowing story that we've been listening to. It's very, very sad. But it is unfortunately the absurd reality that seems to now be commonplace in Uganda. We get more and more of these stories every day, and I don't know when it will end, but certainly the sad part perhaps is that probably some of the people who visited these atrocities on you or who have visited them on others are probably even listening to this space. And I don't know what kind of despicable human beings can get themselves to that extent. But Chingendo kusaba Noah,
Yes, go with it, Toko.
Yeah, just catch a breather. We have we arrange this space in such a way that we have two different.
Okay.
We have you speaking as a political prisoner, but we also have the children of a political prisoner right now in Uganda. One who is not as much known. In fact, his story is not getting as much traction as we thought it should get, but whose story we also think needs this kind of traction. So the children are joining us from South Africa. I'm going to engage them maybe. Is that okay?
It's okay.
Okay, so I'm now going to engage Yvette. Yvette, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, it's good that you can hear me. So for those who may not be aware, Yvette, can you tell us about your father and what happened on the 17th of this month?
Okay, so on the 17th of July, my dad was traveling from South Africa to Uganda, because he was going to be burying his uncle over the weekend of the 19th. So he had landed at around 9:15, and when he landed, he then informed my aunt that he had landed. He was then detained or held back rather by immigration, and he told my aunt that, he was being held back by immigration, but that he would be leaving soon. It would seem after about maybe less than an hour, he then informed her that, these people are serious. You might want to get lunch, but don't leave the airport. I should be out soon. Because it hadn't been the first time that my dad had been held back by immigration, but certainly not for this long. And that was the last time my Auntie Claire then heard from my dad. She then went to immigration to ask where he was, but they didn't want to assist her. And they told her that if she needed any assistance to find out where my dad was, that she should go to the police. So she went to the police in the airport and she asked for their assistance, and they said, listen, who is the man? How old is he? And they informed her that they didn't have anyone currently in their custody who met that description, and that she should go back to immigration to find out from them. And this kind of back and forth continued until finally someone from the police station then went with her to immigration, and they went to the back to kind of discuss with the members of immigration. She then returned, and they had informed her that they have handed over my dad to state security and that she should go home. They will contact her. She then asked, no one has taken down her details, who has detained him, and they said that she should leave. And around 7, 8 p.m. that night, so almost 12 hours later, she then had to leave. And that was the last that we heard of my dad.
That's really sad. So for those who may not, now we've had that sad and harrowing story as well. Now for those who may not know your dad, who is your dad, and what do you think is happening behind the scenes? Why is it that you think probably these guys were interested in him?
Okay, so my dad is a practicing advocate in South Africa, and he has political ambition. So he had initially, as mentioned by Agatha, he had initially tried to open a party named Seed, and has been trying to register Seed for the past 5 years without fail, with ongoing kind of court applications to appeal with the Electoral Commission and trying to get the party registered. And after a number of years of this having failed, he then decided that he would join the Ugandan Federal Alliance, and in January they had a delegates conference where he was elected as their president. From our understanding, it would seem that within the month, there were veteran members of the Ugandan Federal Alliance that had contested my dad's presidency, and an appeal was then made to the Electoral Commission. Following that, they held a meeting with these veterans, some of the members of the party. My dad was not in attendance, as well as members, a panel that consisted of the Electoral Commission. And at this panel meeting, they then tried to kind of find out what the reasons for contesting my dad's presidency was, and I don't have full information as to what happened during that meeting. Following that, the Electoral Commission failed to respond to or give a decision as to how to proceed. And then my dad never kind of received any feedback, and from there he wasn't on the ballot to run. So I think what comes as a surprise is that he wasn't even on the ballot to run. So as to why he is being detained, we are completely unaware, and I don't think we expected for this to happen so early, especially because he wasn't on the ballot to run for the upcoming elections.
Yeah, that's sad. But I think, as you've heard with Noah, it's not just the people who are planning to run that these guys target.
Yeah.
I can tell you for a fact that there's a student who went missing in Hoima. He had gone to do internship, a university student, Makerere University, and he disappeared. And we looked for him. 6 weeks later, we had a rumor that the state security went there and abducted him. That's what they did. They didn't arrest him, they abducted him. And then after some time, we asked a bit, we made a flyer, we asked on Twitter. The next thing you know is that he was taken into Entebbe, and Entebbe Magistrates Court is notoriously infamous for these kinds of unbecoming, uncouth, unjudicial conduct. And then he has been remanded and is getting back to court tomorrow. So I just want to put that to you that I know you don't live in Uganda, you live in South Africa and all, but it is really the case. And for those who may not know, perhaps those who are not Ugandans, that this occurrence is so common. Any person, it doesn't need to be the most senior politician or the person who poses the most threat to the regime. So this is 13 days later, Yvette, right?
Yes.
I'm going to ask the hard question. How has this affected you people, as his children, as your mother, perhaps your mother, and as a family? How have you been affected by his absence?
I'm gonna give my sister Joanna the opportunity to respond to that question.
Hi everyone. Okay, so because we are quite a close-knit family, it's just been the 6 of us since day one. We kind of did everything together, and we were very close family. So it's very weird to be 5. It's very weird to not have the leader kind of tell us what to do, how to manage. And we're all very, very reliant on my father because of his nature. Everything that we did, we would consult our father. He ran everything, with a lot of us not knowing how to do stuff, because that's just how we were. We were completely dependent on him. So it's been like a shockwave, to put it lightly, because it's difficult to think, to breathe, to eat. For me, my biggest struggle is I can't eat without knowing whether my father has eaten. So I'm struggling a lot, and that's something so small, but it's like I find that I can't put food in my mouth because I feel like, how can I eat not knowing if my dad has eaten? So it's shocked us. We are struggling, and it's tough when you're all the way this side and you feel a bit hopeless being in a completely different country. Also, like Yvette said, not expecting this to have happened. Yes, as much as we understand that this is how politics is in Uganda, we were, of the view that it's only those who make it on the ballot, or those the Bobby Wines of the world, who will find themselves in such sticky situations. So for it to have been my dad, a good Samaritan, so to speak, it's been very, very difficult. And I mean, on my end, I was supposed to get married in 2 months. My dad was supposed to walk me down the aisle, and now everything's at a standstill. So it's been a nightmare, and you wake up and you kind of think, is this really happening? And seeing my dad's photos on everything, it's weird. It's weird. You think this happens to other people and don't think it happens to your own. So it's been very difficult, very, very, very painful.
Yeah, that's really sad. Not the kind of thing that any child should go through. It's very, very unfortunate, and to hear these stories. like I said, it's unfortunately becoming such a common occurrence in Uganda that people just disappear. We grew up hearing such stories as a thing of the distant past, where they will tell us that in the past, in the years gone by, in the decades gone by, and now we seem to live this reality every day. People just disappear, and then we don't know what happens next. So, but I also know that you people try to engage the courts of law in Uganda, right?
Yes, we did. We did try to. We were told that the courts were on recess, which is standard, but we brought in an urgent application for habeas corpus, which was then heard, and some form of a preliminary order was then given, and the respondents that were cited in the pleadings were then compelled to appear in court and, as it goes, present my father and state the reasons for his alleged detention, because it's obviously illegal to have somebody detained for a prolonged period of time without allowing them to have the opportunity to justice, to legal representation, or even know why they're being held. So the fact that they didn't adhere to that and they just didn't pitch up at court, and to put in all the efforts to bring an urgent application, serve it in time, there's so much that goes into that process. So for respondents to just not appear in court, where on our end we are completely reliant on the wheels of justice just assisting us, to have that as an outcome is so shattering, because now it's like, what do you do if the people that you're working against don't even adhere to the law? What must you do? Because we can't play the game the way they're playing the game. So it's rough, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. It must be really, really rough and tough. Do you know when did the court say to make any sort of pronouncement, or when did the court refer you to the next date?
So it's the 31st of July, which will then mark the 2-week period of my dad being abducted. So we're just, that's when the judgment will be made.
31st of July.
Yes, in 2 days' time.
That's Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I speak as a lawyer at this point. That's really unfortunate, because if in emergency situations like that, the court is supposed to be more proactive. It doesn't matter if the court is on recess. There should be people who handle such cases. I mean, someone cannot disappear. We don't know where they are, and then the court says, "Oh, we are still on recess." It just doesn't make sense to me. But yes, I know one of your sisters is a lawyer. Is she near you?
That's me speaking. Yeah.
Well, that's you speaking. So, have you tried to engage any other legal avenues apart from just the courts in Uganda? Are there things that you perhaps want people here to help you with in terms of legalese?
At this point, obviously, any help that anyone is willing to give, whether it even be making a post and putting up a poster, we are more than welcome, grateful to accept everything that we can. But for now, we're just trying to get the South African government to also assist, because we also have citizenship on this side. We would have hoped that the South African government would engage and be a little bit helpful to try and help their own, so to speak, as much as this incident has occurred in my dad's country of birth. He still should be protected in terms of the South African law as well. So on this side, we are just trying to engage the relevant authorities for some help. It is a bit difficult when we are working with Uganda, because they also don't abide by the laws, So there's only so much South Africa can do. But that's what we're doing on our side. But if there's anyone that knows anyone, we would appreciate it. If anyone can offer anything, also when it comes to having legal assistance, it comes with a bill. And as much as we would have wanted to have the best of the best and try and take this as far as we can, being a small family, it's also difficult in that sense. So we aren't even picky as to who can help and who can't help. We're open to anyone who's willing to offer any form of assistance. This is new to us. Like I said, we're a small family. We color within the lines. We don't. I mean, I was saying the other day to somebody, my dad hasn't even gotten a speeding ticket in his life. That's how by the book he's been. So, yeah.
He's also a South African citizen, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, is there anything are there avenues you're trying to pursue with the South African government?
Yes, we are trying to engage the South African government to intervene. But as I said, it's just a little bit difficult because the incident occurred in my dad's country of birth. Uganda's kind of claiming him as their own and stating that we don't have a South African in our possession, we have a Ugandan. So because my dad has one leg in South Africa and the other leg in Uganda, it's kind of a peculiar situation when you've got dual citizenship. But the way Uganda's taking a stance that we don't have your person, which is it makes it very difficult. So the embassy is saying, you know, we've tried, but they're saying, Uganda's saying we don't have a South African, we have a Ugandan, so leave us alone.
I think for me, what's important to note here is that you're saying Uganda is admitting, the government of Uganda is admitting to having it.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so he's not a missing person for sure, but he's a person that the government has thought should hold for 12 days, coming to 13 tomorrow without being produced in court, without charging him, without his family visiting him, without a lawyer.
Yeah. And it is also, I don't know if you've seen the press release from the police officials who are also stating that, you know, they don't have anybody in their possession who they've arrested. So it's kind of like it falls in between with you saying he's not necessarily a missing person. It's tough because in the strict sense, no one knows where he is. So it's kind of like, yes, he was taken, but it's like, even if, you know, we were told that immigration said he was cleared, because my dad does get, it's very common for us to get screened by immigration because we have the South African citizenship. So it's very, very common for them to screen us. So for immigration to say that he was cleared and then they gave him over to state security, but then they don't want to say which state security he was handed over to. They don't want to give more information as to what transpired there. It makes it very difficult, and it's kind of, you ask the question as to why are you keeping your cards so close to your chest? Why are you not giving away such information? If you can admit that you had this person for 2 hours and you were screening them and you had no reason to hold them back, and then after that you're saying that he was taken by state security, it's kind of like you have to, you can't just end your story there.
Yeah, I hear you. That's really sad. And I must say at this point that this is going to be one of those sad spaces, and those sad spaces tend to go slightly longer. So let's just first listen in to the political prisoner in Noah Mutwe. In fact, his name is Noah Mitala. Mutwe is a nickname. Mutwe is a nickname, same as Edward Sebufu called Eddie Mutwe, and then the family of Kayingo Robert. So I'm going to let you guys hold on a bit. Let me just go back to Noah and engage him so that he can tell us further what happened when he was taken to court and all that. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes, that's perfectly fine. Thank you.
Okay, take a breather. So Noah, ochaliko?
Kwendi toko.
Okay, katwabadde aonga wakutute ku barracks checho utwabadde utwakomye.
Yes.
So let's pick it up from there and we follow further and see.
So kati okurunninga awo mangu. Then banzija mu nyumba. Kati after those 5 days. Then the following day, that's the 6th day. Kati mba ndi awo ngenda okulaba sawa zaali around like sawa nga 4 bwe watu. Mba ndi awo ngenda okulaba basajja babiri bajja nga bambadde bakavalinze faces zaabwe. Neera nga bali mu uniform za UPDF. Then nga bakavalinze faces zaabwe, then n'oyo omwami omuwanvu. Then bwe bajja olinga akwata akagundi before nga tannakantekawo nga ngamba ease yourself oyambe tugenda. Kakati then ngenda mu kiyigo, of course nalemererwa okufuka. Kati mutima nga nze ndowooza Mukama Katonda akinkoledde, bagenda kati kundropinga. So then nga bankavalinga banyambaza akantu, then nga bakola ki, nga banteekako empingu, nga bankwata mu mikono wano wakati, nga banfulumya. Then tufuluma, mpulira nti tuli wabweru. Then ngenda okulya baggula oluggi lw'emmotoka. Kugula oluggi lw'emmotoka bansitula ninnya emmotoka ntuula ku motto. At this time around bantuuza Wasemba ku luggi kati of course we wantuze wasemba ku lujja in my mind nekifuna nendoza nengamba kati nga we babikola bulijjo ekintuziza ku lujji this time around bagenda kunsuula bajja kugula buguzi lujji bansuule then nentuula ne bankyusa omutwe guno ne gutunula mu ndabirwamu y'oluggi olwo lw'emabega mu dabo kabini eyo kati bwentuula ngenda bwentuula awo then ow'Amaje omu kwe kuŋŋamba Noah Mutwe osamira Noah Mutwe kirabika osamira muli basamize kati kwe kwata ekisumuluzo kino nina enkovu yange wano eno in fact ebiseera ebyo nagifuna nkyali nga nkyabawunsinga ku mabaala so waliwo client eyali yakola ki eyali yannuma amannyo gano ne gasigalako so ne gakolako enkovu ey'amaanyi so ngenda okulaba kwata kyalinga kisumuluzo nga agezaako okugisala bw'ati agezo jinyiga banagamba Noah Mutwe osamira olaba kati ovuddeyo bwoti n'agamba levu tetugajjeeko tebagassusumbuddeeko osamira olina osamira so I was like nensirika in fact ndowooza kye nawulira statement gye nawuliranga evamu oyo omu ow'Amaje then tutulala almost like dakiika nga 10 mbandi awo ngenda okuwulira ate waliwo ayingidde emmotoka kati nze mukulowooza okwange nalowooza musirikale nga bamunkukutirizaako bweti naye nga mpulira like egundi y'empingu kati nze nendowooza obona musirikale akutte empingu sasa kifaako nnyo ngenda okulaba omusirikale omulala atudde n'omulala atudde kati n'emabega twatuulayo bana kati ngenda okulaba oluggi lwa maaso ngewulira oluggi lw'emaaso olw'eyo emmotoka nalwo olweggudde oli ayingidde era ngenda okuwulira geeti bakola ki n'abali emabega balinye ngenda okuwulira geeti bagiggula of course neŋŋamba mutima neŋŋamba Mukama Katonda okinkoledde kajjaka ngenda kuddayo kulaba ku baana bange ngenda kulaba ku bantu bange kati emmotoka neevuga kati emmotoka weevuga ne tuvuga ne bavuga ne tetulina we twasitopingako yadde okujjako era nga wembagambye nti express eyo osobola ogitegeera ne Northern bypass osobola ogitegeera kakati we bavuga ne bavuga kati mukubo wakati ono ansemberedde ngenda okumuwulira agamba ayagala kweyamba to ease out himself kati mpulira eddoboozi lya fande nga agamba ono you continue let's continue kati mutima nebuza nengamba musirikale ekyagamba ayagala kweyamba kati nga sikitegeera bulungi then motoka nekola ki nevuga tutuuka tusitopinga kati mu kusitopinga inze mmanya mulindowooza kati time yakunsuula kunkasuka wabweru kakati mbandi awo enzigi baziggudde bano babuuseeko ngenda okulaba ene wange wentudde jukanze nali nsembye ku oluggi baluggula bagenda okunzijjako akakookolo nkunzijjako akakookolo ntunula bwenti in fact nga noona nziriridde sinaba mutunuulira ntunula bwenti ngenda okutunula bwenti maaso eri ndaba nateeke police station mutima nenzesa ekikowe nkyusa feesi ntunule wano ono ambadde wano okumpi ngenda okulaba omwami omuzeeyi in fact nga wenkugambye nti musajja yali mu public domain amanyikiddwa era ategeereke ngenda okumulaba awo kakati naye ng'olwo bamaze omuggyako akagundi k'oku mutwe ngenda okumulaba ng'agamba oli omusirikale ng'amubuuza who's this ng'abuuza nzaani of course nange naye simusisinkanako simumanyi nga mutunulira bwe ninga mumanyi kuba public servant kakati munnaye batujja mu mmotoka mbandi awo ngenda okulaba abo abasajja ba SFC gundi bagisazeeko natete bagisazeeko nga bagamba abaali awo abasirikale bonna ne bagamba mugyeewo amasimu muveewo naawo buli ali awo aveewo kati ngenda okulaba omukyala yanneeyanjulira nga afande nabutono ng'avaayo omukyala atuula awo natete ku police station ng'avaayo nga ngamba Noah Mutwe mitala Noah you are under arrest on charges of malicious information sectarianism divisions yansomera accounts zalinga 5 kakati ne mugamba madam nemugamba afande sibadde tebanzije waka nina gye mbadde gye sitategeera era bandeese wano mbadde misinga ne family yange temanyibwa wanagamba no for us we've just arrested you now era sebo omwami Mitala twakakukwata kati era you are under arrest. Ali nga banzijako empingu ezaabwe nga bankwasa afande Nabutono then nga batutwala batutuusa waggulu. Of course nze we natuukawo nenzisa ekikkoowe ne ngamba ayi Mukama Katonda kenvudde eri ewasinga ewabi kentuuse wano at least ensi egenda kumanya era egenda kutegeera wawendi at least nfunye ku ssuubi eriddamu okulaba ku bantu bange cause nali sisuubira nakutuukako naye omanyi wotuuka ku level like tonnava mu mikono gy'abasajja ne at least nga weebaza Mukama Katonda nti at least ntuuseeko ku kitongole kyemmanyi nti kyo kisobola okuwa respect amateeka at least kyo kisobola okugoberera amateeka. However much nabo tebasobola ku questioninga nti ono mumugyewa gwe mutuwadde essaawa zino kubanga of course nina okukkiriza nti Uganda Police Force yali ekimanyiko nti missinga era kyemmanyi family zange zaali ziripotinze ku police ez'enjawulo nga zigamba missinga naye police station ye Natet ekyo teyakimindingako ne bangamba nti I'm under arrest. Ne ngamba Mukama Katonda ne mugamba at least ndi wano ensi egenda kutegeera nti ndi wano then okwanguya yanguya toko batutwala then tuba twakatuuka then bagenda mu boardroom kati batutuusa wali tukola statement no statement nga batuwandiika amannya biki bye tuzze nabyo kati mbandi awo ngenda kulaba oli munnange gwe banvunaana naye gwe bagamba nti neekobaana naye okukola ebyo byansindikibwa ebyo bagamba nti bye nazza nga bamutwala bavaawo later alone nategeera baba baali bamutute ku search I don't know nga bamutwala bavaawo then nze nsigala nga bano bagenda mu boardroom bonna waliwo omukulu simwerabidde erinnya era munene ali ku police station awo ye Natet nga bagenda mu boardroom bamaliza boardroom ze balina we bantuuziza bamaliza okuva mu boardroom bo bampita bangamba kakati twagala obeere cooperative ogenda kukola statement nga bagamba nno munnange sina statement gye ngenda kukola nga sisoose kwogerako ne lawyer wange oba n'abafamile yange kati awo nga nange ndi mugumu manyi eri gye nvudde wano wendi at least amateeka ke gakole kanteekewo nange embeera ne mbagamba sina statement gye ngenda kukola nga soogedde na lawyer wange ne basooka bagaana ne bagamba you have to be cooperative ne mbagamba nedda ne bagamba kubira omukyalawo ne mbagamba enamba y'omukyala sigirina mu mutwe era sigimanyi unless nga mumpadde essimu ne bagamba ate ya lawyer yongo ogirina mutwe ne mbagamba ne ya lawyer sigirina mu mutwe naye essimu yange gye mulina enamba ya lawyer mweri ne bagamba essimu tugikuwa ogenda kukubira mukyala of course ne mbagamba enamba y'omukyala teriimu teri saved ne bagamba tekisoboka ne mbagamba mumpe essimu nkubire lawyer wange so finally ne bampe essimu mukumpe essimu nasooka kuba ku namba ya Council George Musisi in fact nasooka kuba ku namba ya Benjamin Katana naye nga takwata then ne nkubira George Musisi bana kakubira George Musisi n'akwata nga ngamba bali mu kooti e Masaka afande nansikako essimu ne mugamba sinaba kumaliriza communicating nangamba obadde okubira ne mbagamba nkubira kanso wange ne magamba mama munganyo okogera noyo kanjogere ne SCG kanjogere ne Rubongo ya besides ogamba ni secretary general kibiina tempagira naye ateera kanso wange munabde ogenda kubira wano Rubongo ya ajja akoleke osi wano tetukuddiza simu ne bagikwata ne bajinzijako esimu ne bagitwala ne mbagamba sigenda kukola statement omusajja nangamba kakati nno abana abande tanangamba kakati nno gwosaaga tuyina n'obusobozi obukujja wano noddayo gyobadde engamba lekoti ne mbagamba statement njikola naye ntandikira gye bampambira ne bangamba nno statement etandika wano ebakuleetedde kubanga ffe twakakufuna kati ne mbagamba mbadde missinga 6 days nawambibwa bwana nangamba byonna newona byogera ife twakakufuna kati era ogenda kubeera mu custody yaffe obutasukka 48 hours ffe twakakufuna kati Uganda wange Godwin bankola statement balokola statement bagamba no let me communicate kante seko communicating abantu bange bamanyi wagwendi naye good enough I think ndoza ku police nateta wali wa bamanyi already bali ba communicating ze ngendo okulaba oyo afande nabutono yennyini agamba mune Noah Mutwe yabadde amisinga futi yabadde amisinga nga family ye munoonya Bobi Wine amunoonya tamulaba nga like bali mu conversation nga baseka. Then I think it was a communication nejja ne bagamba ndina okutransferring okugibwawo because nali manyiwe ngenda okubeera kuba ne charges bazinzigulira kaawo kakati ziba ziwera saawa 12 kitundu kati awo banzikiriza eno okunteeka mu kaseero ndowooza nga bakubye bagamba gundi yange bagiteeketeeke bagenda kunzija waawo sisobola kubeera awo kati afande mubuuza ate lwaki muntu wano wagenda kubeerawo kewosi y'amaanyi togenda kubeera wano kati awo endabira muzeeyi wange oyo omutonga ze akaaba muzeeyi wange mujanga kabanga mubuuza ye otegedde tangamba ngenze nendaba ku mutimbagano nga Bobby Giant agamba olinda tete ku police mugamba munaye ebyo byebiriwo ngebyo nga mugamba naye communicate to my family munaye nga agamba nga akube simu ndoza nga communicating ku family mbandi awo banzijayo lubaluba ne ngamba ate kiki ngenda okutuuka wabweru wa police nga waliwo abajjati for the first time mu bulamu bwange Godwin nga mbadde manyi jati manyanga abasiti be bambala black sorry to say jati abasiti aba counter terrorism abambala black nga mbulamu bwange manyi badiringa n'aba terrorist badiringa n'abatuju badiringa n'abantu gamba ababbi bali ababbi abatano okutta ndo tuka upatro nga ziri 2 nga bankwata nga baganga IO mchalo oyo munene mwerabidde erinnya nga jane kifairo nga atula mu double cabin nga atula mulinga bangamba wejangu nga nange bagula emotoka ntule emabega basekala babiri batula kati patrol endala patrol nga ijjuddeko ekulembera kati nze ndi wakati ne mabega waliyo patrol ngesimbula nga bantwala nga balinga abatwalwa omutujju muganda wange ne banvuga ne bantwala ekira jukira sirina yadde kyakwebikka obugatto sirina kuba we nali mbulise ku police naddamu babuuza nga bangamba obugatto tebuliiwo ndi mu kisaati nga kyatobye dda ntimpunyirira na bubi sirina kye natadde mu lubuto sinalya nga banvuga kuchu mpaka Kira Road tutuuka Kira Road nga bagenda bakola ebyaweri ndowooza wano baali bantereseewo obuteresi tutuuka Kira Road kati ngamba afande banaye sirina kye naalidde ate ndi bubi sebulira bulungi sisobola kusula ku seminti ono nga sirina kye neebise sajja ne bangamba baatuganye okuba kugwa communicatinga naye ogenda kubeera wano bwoti paka obudde buke ojja communicatinga ng'obudde bukedde ne mbagamba mpulira bubi at least munfunireyo kijampa kubanga banjawula kaseero tebaateeka eri mu bangi waliwo obuseero kati nze nzikirira banyingiza kaseero kati ndowooza oyo ko accused wange naye ali mu kaseera akokubiri naye ali yekka nembagamba negayira afanira ngamba we have orders twandikuyambye naye tebatukkiriza kuyamba kubaako kye tukuwa we have orders gumamu olinde mpaka kumaca ndina ojja kufuna byoyagala Godwin nebaka bwento muganda wange nga bondaba kaseminti akakira road yako ensiri ne zirumanze Katonda laba wajja na nyambo ba tere afande ndowooza oyo accused yagamba afande namuwa kawudi n'akabiriti mpandi awo nga akampa akonko n'akampa nzirika nanga bakwata kawudi kano n'akabiriti kakoleza kawudi kano kakuyambeko ku nsiri muganda wange obudde we buca mbandi awo olumuzeeyi wange omuto azze aŋŋamba nti IO ow'ennateete ye yamugamba namugamba genda Kira Road naye tobaako gw'ogamba n'omu genda omwana waali bwe tumulese kati mbandi awo nga zaatinye ekinene kijampa njiwako kijampa awo naye nga mpulira bubi nga shivalinga nga mbutuufu sewulira ddala bulungi era bwe bampita okuddayo okuddayo eri kuba baddamu ne bampita ku makya ndowooza bambi Council Benjamin Katana ngazze ne SG kwa Council Benjamin Katana bwajja then following hours SG David Lewis Lubongo ya naye najja newe nalaba ku basajja bange bano ne ngamba Mukama Katonda kasitanda bye kubano manyi embeera ejjaterera butuufu n'enguma negumya mutima muli ne ngamba eri gye mbadde ewasinga obubi waddawo n'embeera tennatera naye at least ko essaawa zino manyi ndi mikono emituufu ndi mikono gya Uganda Police Force n'engumiraawo kanso n'angumya n'angamba nuwa bijja kugwa bijja kuba bulungi then n'embeerawo n'ensula kwolo saasula bikwa bandeetera ekijampa mukyala wange naye nandeetera ka mattress buli mattress buno obukoleere n'enkayiwawo neneebaka nandeetera ku bbogoya in fact saalya ku mmere kubanga n'appetite sigiina nga sisobola giteeka ng'olubuto sirubulira era nalya bbogoya olwo olunaku eka bbogoya oyo yannyamba nnyo gwe nabeerako mpaka kati olwo olunaku lwe batuleeta mu kkooti bampita waggulu bakomyewo n'omukulu ali ku musango ogwo atule Nateete baavanga Nateete ne bajja wakati wane mu kiralo odi kyaka baali bantereseewo obuteresi ne bajja nange n'enkuba emmeeza embagamba mbadde ngezezaako obeera cooperative statement nagikola nemba nnyonnyola nze sirina musango gwonna omusajja simumanyi simusisinkanangako sogerangako naye siina we nasharingako kintu kyonna mwe mugamba ebyansindikibwa siina we nabisharingako wonna logins zange nzibawadde zonna mufunye access ku bye mubadde mwagala naye nze sirina kyemmanyi kira nembagamba era nengamba muzeeyi wange siddamu kufuluma seereno nfuluma seereno nga ngenda mu kkooti era siddamu kusisinkana muntu yenna okujjako nga ngenda mu kkooti kubanga nkimanyi awo zikilookinga 48 hours nga nkimanyi mateeka buteekwa byonna ebinaabaawo nina kumalira mu kkooti kati omuzeeyi wange bamuwuddisiza bugumye ono tugenda muwa police bond ne mugamba omanyi toddamu nakujja wano toddamu kwengejinga musirikale yonna nze ekiddako nkimanyi nemagamba tebasobola kunteerawo kubanga n'ekisooka kya byonna omusango gwe baŋŋamba siguzangako sirina kye nali nkoze tebalina bujulizi bino byonna bijja kuggweera mu kkooti mba ndi awo nga batuleetera omusawo saawa zaalinga 6 baleeta omusawo kati batuyita bwe ndaba ku musawo of course automatically nemmanya nti these are preparations for the court musawo nambuuza nangamba
just a minute but umusawo yali doctor like they brought a doctor or a nurse
police doctor
okay
police doctor then baleeta police doctor then nangamba nankebera omubiri gwonna nakebera bwati nangamba enkovu eriwajo nemubuulira nemugamba enkovu nangamba nesirawo physical torture yonna nemugamba of course sirina physical torture ne torture za njawulo torture za mirundi mingi nemunyonnyola nemugamba naspendinga nabeera ku mpingu for 5 days bwe nali mpambibwa nayambalizibwa akantu ako ne kampisiza ddala bubi nemugamba abasajja banzanyirako nga bwe bankwata nga ndi bwereere nemugamba emotionally I was tortured psychologically I was tortured nemugamba physically nyinza okuba tortured nga tolina kiwundu kyolaba naye inside me psychologically emotionally siri stable era natokyalingibwa koze okumala 5 days ku mpingu nga sisobola nakulya sisina kyesobola kuteeka mu kamwa abasajja ne banzirako ne bandikodinga ne bankwata nga ndi bwere musawo nangamba I know I can understand but my issue here is to check you physically. Do you have any wounds? Of course, nibanga sina kiwundu kyonna nakola gundi then nebanzijjawo kyenzuka yangamba bugambya just be strong bino bijja kuggwa everything will come to an end then nenzirayo ziba ziri awo saawa 10 kitundu ngenda okulaba omusirikale yadduka najja nakaaba nangamba weeteeketeeke bakutwala nemugamba ate bantwala nangamba abasajja bazze wano babatwala nemugamba ate ngenda kutwala ki nayinawo bbogoya bwangawo nenzijako eminwe 2 nenjirya bukozika kwe kubuuza OC owa poliisi eyo nemugamba mukama wange kakati nzikirizibwa twala obuntu bwange buno batutwala wanangamba tolina kyogenda kutwala naye babatwala katikati mba ndi awo ngenda okulaba twine naye bamugjeeyo fande twine naye bamugjeeyo batutaddeko empingu babiri batukutte then tufuluma batutwala. Ngenda okulaba police van ine ya black ne patrol endala zaali bbiri naye nga waliwo ne double cabin bbiri endala nga ziri mabega waliwo ne marker X. Kakati kubanza amaaso gange gatambula nnyo nze mutima nga sikikiriza nga ngamba nti n'abasirikale bano bayinza obbatujjako mpaka omusirikale omu ndowooza yali akomandinga gundi eye tuleeta ku kooti bwe yaŋŋamba akakkana n'aŋŋamba kakkana woba oli mikono gyaffe tewali ayinza kutujjako. Then awo ne ŋŋamba IO ne mugamba njagala kwogerako ne kanso, njagala mutegeeza nti batugjeewo wano at least abeerawo yamanye nti tumumuvinga. IO n'agamba saawa zino tebanzikiriza ninako komanda ali maaso tanzikiriza mu communicating. Ne mugamba naye essaawa zino mbadde ku poliisi wano abantu bange bamanyi ndi wano ate munzijawo nina eddembe yange obbategeeza nti nvaawo wano waliwo we bantwala nennemerako mpaka IO we yakubira BK Council Benjamin Katana. Bwakubira Council Benjamin Katana amumpa ku simu Council mugamba batujjawo wano ekiralo odi naye sinnategeera wawe tulaga naye as of now tuvaawo. Council BK nangamba Noah Mutwe kakati tubadde tukyali ku conference wano ku kitebe naye ne mi communicate baloya baffe basobole okugenda ku kooti zonna eziri awo kozi ndowooza yali akimanyira tugenda ku kooti. Nangamba kan communicating nenzijako essimu ne tutambula pwi batutwala naye nga amaaso gandi mabega double cabin zino bbiri ne Mark X era of course zajja ne zitugoberera zaayawukana nga tuli ku Buganda Road. Tuka ku Buganda Road akagombe nga tulinga batujju. Weweta weti neyingira Buganda Road ningamba izulu mukama Katonda. Kati luno luwedde. Of course when again wannabeera bulungi ne at least mpeweddeko ningamba at least wano kale batujja mu van ndaba Abubeka Luwowa ankubira kajambo mutima ningamba at least ensetegedde wendi nenzikakana era wankubira kajambo ne muubira wenti omukono mutima ningamba at least kakati ensi emanyiwa weeri emanyiwa wendi at least kati ngenda kubeera mu mikono emituufu. Godwin ne baganda bange bali wano nze na papa okulinnya basi ya prison ngamba mukama okusinzira ku kye nalaba impunity gye nalaba amaanyi ge nalaba abasajja ge baali bakozesa nga ne Uganda Police Force essaawa ezo naye eringa etalina yadde amaanyi nga muli nkimanyi nti na wano bayinza okunzijawo naye nze nasse ekikoowi nga tuyingidde prison ya basi wano wonna mu kooti ebyo bivaayo nze no mind yange teriiwaawo nzirene bali kati waliwo omwana wastruggle ajja n'angamba ekiri wabweru abasajja basazeeko ne budroni we buli ne mugambo manyi ekirungi ngenda mu prison bannaye sinze yasabirira okulaba nga nyingira basi ya prison kwa olaba Godwin nawe batuteeka we tuweyitingira nze kennyini nagamba sergeant ne mugamba mukama wange nteekaako empingu nyangamba mugamba nteekaako empingu nkwegayiridde ne nyingira
kati no just a second For those who are listening, and I'm sure that they probably don't know Luganda, I'll use the little Luganda that I know. I'll deplete my Luganda reserve to just translate what he said, that he literally got to a point where when he was being taken to prison, he really felt relieved. Yeah, so you must understand that this is the level of desperation that he was at. That ordinarily, people going to prison don't like going to prison. People do everything to escape prison. But this gentleman, who was detained illegally in ungazetted places of detention, contrary to the laws of Uganda, contrary to national standards, contrary to national instruments that Uganda is a party to, got to a point where they were saying, where he was now being taken to prison and being taken to the prison bus, the infamous maroon prison bus, and he felt a sense of relief. He even feared that at this point they could still come and the evil people, the guys who had abducted him, could still come and pick him. And he was saying, I hope that's not the case. So while they were putting his hand in the cuffs, when they were handcuffing him, he felt like, can you please hurry up? I feel a sense of relief that you're handcuffing me. So this is a very, very sad story. And I hope I've done a bit in translating that part, because I know there are people here. Someone just sent me a message that there are people who don't know what's being said, but they're stuck on the space. And we are grateful that you're sticking on the space. So Katinoa, can I pick it up from there, or you want to finish that segment first?
No, it's okay. Kubanga ndawe era sigatawo kijeyo bulungi.
Katika kanzire ku family ya mukulu Kayingo. Yvette, are you there? Do you guys speak Luganda as well, by the way?
No. No, we do not. But my mom is here translating for us.
Oh, you guys speak Xhosa and Zulu, I guess.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, I know the one word there. It's Haibo. That's what I know how to. Yes, at this point now, you guys mentioned something earlier. I don't know if it was Yvette or your sister, that there was this kind of dispute after your father took over the leadership of the Uganda Federal Alliance.
Yes.
And I must say, the current leader, the previous leader, one of the previous leaders, I should say, I don't know when she's still one of the previous leaders of Uganda Federal Alliance, Madam Betty Olive Namisango Kamia,
yes.
Currently in the government as a member of the I think she's actually close to the NRM.
NRM, yes.
And said that President Museveni is the most brilliant person she has ever met, and puts a lot of brains together, and so many other things contrary to what she had said in the past. I said this to say that she's really in the government right now, and I haven't seen her make any attempt to even mention that your father is missing. Have you guys engaged her in any way, or have you seen her do anything towards the release of your father?
No, nothing at all.
Okay, that's very telling. What was your father's relationship with her?
I do not think that my dad had any personal relationship with him, but I stand with her. Sorry, but I stand to be corrected.
I mean, professional relationship. So were they feuding? Is she part of the people who thought your father taking over the party was not right? Is she? Do you think in any way? I'm not saying that she is. I'm just trying to cast the net as possible. So was she part of the people that disputed your father's takeover of the leadership of the Uganda Federal Alliance?
We don't know. We actually don't know. We were told that the members that had contested were existing members of the UFA, and they were veterans in the party.
That's quite telling. Now, is it possible by a stretch of imagination or any chance? I mean, if you hear Noah's story, the thing with these cases in Uganda, when cases like this happen, normally is that there's a lot of rumors spreading by, and sometimes if you see through the rumors, you can get to know which ones to believe, which ones seem more plausible, more realistic, more believable. I should say. Are you guys hearing any rumors on who probably complained or what probably could be the reason behind his detention? I'm not saying that you should know. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that you must. I'm just saying that, have you had anything that you think that maybe this could be more plausible?
So because we've been completely detached with my dad's political endeavors, we don't even know, even like how Yvette was saying, we don't even know his relationship or engagement with other members because we were so detached from it. And my dad did that strategically because he didn't want us to be invested or involved at all. So if you're asking about, what have we heard? We've heard nothing, which is what makes it difficult. We're completely in the dark. And because we don't have much connection with the UFA ourselves, we don't know what conversations could even be had in the corridors. So we absolutely don't even know anything.
Yes. And we don't mind your mother speaking as well. If she wants to speak, you can let her as well own it.
She says she doesn't want to speak for now.
Okay. So anyone else wants to speak there? Or I pose the next question.
You can pose the next question, please.
Okay. So I know you guys were told to go and make a formal complaint with the police. Was that done as well?
That was done today by my Auntie Claire.
It was done today by Claire.
But we haven't gotten feedback as to whether they accepted it, because initially when she had tried, they had refused.
What were they saying?
They said that how can she make a missing persons report when we know that my dad was being held by state security.
That's really the conundrum there. They know they are holding him. They won't take the missing persons case, but yes, they're holding him illegally. And like I said earlier, these things are quite confusing because, well, if the state is holding me and doesn't produce me in court after 48 hours, I'm officially missing.
Yes.
And I don't see any reason for their objection to that.
Yes.
Okay. And have you guys engaged any other mechanisms? I will say this. I know for a fact that I've been in contact with Yvette. And are there other mechanisms, for instance, outside Uganda? I would say maybe Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch. Are those avenues that we could probably engage as well?
We're still trying to engage them. What we've done thus far is just gone through legal avenues. So trying to get a lawyer, bring the urgent application on that side, engage with the international relations on this side, engage with the embassy. So those are the avenues that we've explored, which is why we're saying that if there's anybody else, whether it be from human rights, we have also tried with human rights on our side here, but they said they don't have jurisdiction and we've been unable to get through to human rights in Uganda. So that's why we're saying if there's anybody who knows of anybody who can assist, then that would help.
Okay, thank you. And I've just been corrected that Betty Kamia left the Uganda Federal Alliance, which means that maybe she has nothing to do with the case at all. Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, many times in Uganda, powerful people use the judicial system. The criminal justice system has been weaponized so many times that, like I mentioned earlier, the case of Eli Tumwine Elson. I've just looked at the charge sheet, and it would be hard for people to guess who, quote unquote, his victims are. His victims, the people he apparently spread hate speech against and malicious information, happen to be the Speaker of Parliament, who is a very, very powerful lady, very guarded, and there's no way a Makerere University student with only a smartphone could cause any sort of harm to her and the President of Uganda. Yeah, so it's really a conundrum. And like I said, we've been on this particular case, I think, for as long as maybe the 13 days, because as soon as we got the information, we got up and running as an organization, making all these flyers, making all these calls, trying to figure out where it could be, and we have also we keep hitting dead ends. So that's why it's confusing, because there's so little to know about it, there's so little to work with, and it's quite problematic.
Definitely, and I think it's also just, I think maybe our eyes are open now and we need to think a bit differently. But definitely we think that perhaps, there might have been just the issues within the party and contesting his presidency that might have been the root of all the troubles that we're seeing now.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that similar issues happened at the National Unity Platform, which is the leading opposition party in Uganda, because there was new leadership, and we know that the old leadership contested it, and part of the team that was contesting, after they were taken to police and released, they came and said, the state told us to say these things. It went back and forth, and it was a very, very ugly and nasty thing to observe for a long period of time. So we just hope that wherever your father is, whoever is holding him, and like I said earlier with Noah, you see, the thing with evil people is that they're like us. It's not like they are born with horns. They're not born with 5 hands, so that you could pick them and say, it's that particular person. It's just like us. It's people with 2 hands, 2 legs. People speak like us. People who look like us. People probably know us. Yeah, people who are probably on this space, listening to this call and saying, I know all the details, but I'll speak because for them it's a job. And I hope that if they're there, just be human. Just see the kind of untold suffering you're causing a family that is so detached. In South Africa, they never engage in Ugandan politics. Their father does not commit any offense by saying he wants to run for political office, if at all he wants to run, but being a president of an opposition party. In any case, these parties are registered under the law, which makes them legal, which makes them, they are becomes state sanctioned in a way, government sanctioned, and I feel like that's very, very terrible. So I think we're going to hold it there. Let me go back to Noah. And then after Noah, I'm going to bring in a segment where we're going to have some questions from the audience. I see we are about 24 minutes past the time we normally end. But like I said earlier, this space is going to go slightly longer because the stories here need to be told. And we hope that we shall tell them as much as we can. So let me go back to Noah to finish with us the part where he was now taken to prison, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Noah, you pick it up from there.
So Toko, then reaching a prison for real. Nja kwebaza leadership ya prison Wulira Action be Osi, then na abasirikale ba in charge bambi tebampisa bubi for real, tebampisa bubi era ne bampa wadi ennungi era ne banzikiriza bwe bansobodde okufuna asobola okunfumbira ne banzikiriza tebampisa bubi for real, because Osera yantuuza ndi mugamba munaye ngenda ba cooperative era nange siri muntu wa buvuyo era nja kubeera muwadi mumpadde okuba kufulumako wabweru nja kufulumako wabweru then neddire munda. Of course n'abasibe banyaniriza bulungi era bangumyanga foreign y'okumachi foreign y'essaawa essatu wemala okugitamu wakati amuba mulina okutambula story Toko gimanyi kati nga bambi bajjaawo ne bambuuzaako ne banzizaamu amaanyi ne baŋŋamba hatoyina musango tekisoboka tetumanyi bino byonna biri fabricated in fact tekina nawe kikwataganira yadde. So I had to be strong. Abantu bannayuganda ne bajja ne bankyalira, of course kyanzizaamu amaanyi bemanyi ne besimanyi ne ku kooti ne bajja like natuuka ne mu mutima muli ne ŋŋamba Mukama Katonda for real ndi luzira naye nga siriiwo ku musango gwa murder, siriiwo ku musango gwa rape, siriiwo ku musango gwa defilement, siri ku musango gwa terrorism, naye ndiwo olwa political affiliation yange, ndiwo olw'ebyo byenjogera okuli okutyoboola eddembe ly'obuntu, enfuga etali y'amateeka etaweebwa kitiibwa, okuli obuli bw'enguzi, kagamba nga mu mutima manyi nti at least ensi emanyi wendi, ate ndi mu kkomera lya Action B nga ndimu ku misango emijwejweteke naye olw'endowooza yange. Nze Toko era njagala okigamba bannayuganda banaye His Excellency Kyagulanyi Bobi Wine waaba nga bwagamba nti ya transforminga n'atulabamu omulamwa n'atugamba nti Noah Mutwe obadde bouncer okuma bagagga baze kulya kasente kaabo okuma bakyakaze kakati obadde kinyozi obadde musituzi wa byuma kakati olina ekintu ekyo ekikulimu kyobadde tonneezuula osobola okubeera eddoboozi eryabo abatasobola kwogera naye bw'oba osobola okugjayo ensonga ezimu ate nga tolina kifo kyeweegwanyiza nti kya byabufuzi olina ettaffaali ly'ogatta ku ggwanga. Nze nga summarize Toko ndi wano ngamba bannayuganda n'abasajja abatutulugunya tetuli balabe bammwe ate tetumenya mateeka. His Excellency Kyagulanyi oyo His Excellency Bobi Wine ne David Lewis Lubongoya be bantu asobola okugamba nti you can utter out your views, osobola okunyonyola abantu ensonga ne bagifuna era ne batukako bulungi nga tovodde muntu tovumye. So bana abasajja banga lyonna bazze balaga nti ffe abali mu ghetto abatasomye kugenda wala tetugwanidde kuvaayo kwogera ku nsonga za ggwanga, naye olwaleero gwe munnayuganda ali eyo bw'olaba nti Noah Mutwe asobola okera ku makya n'awambibwa n'atwalibwa mu illegal detention n'atokyalingibwa n'asindikibwa e Luzira, olw'ebyo byayogera njagala oddemu amaanyi era kikuzeemu essuubi nti olwaleero batukwa twava ku by'okubeera mu mboozi z'emipiira, mu by'okubeera mu mboozi z'obuseegu, mu kubeera mu bitagasa ne tudda ku mboozi ezizimba eggwanga. Mujjukire olwaleero nze Noah Mutwe nsobola okuwambibwa n'ogamba nti ndi munnabyabufuzi naye tekikyaliko nti bannabyabufuzi be bawambibwa, bannayuganda bonna olwaleero bawambibwa. Bwe kiba nti olwaleero osobola okuwambibwa okuva mu makaago n'obulawo ennaku zonna ne bakutuusa mu mikono gya Uganda Police Force. Uganda Police Force nga terina capacity ebuuza bakuleese nti ono mumugyeewa era abaddewa, nga tesobola nakola statement nga bakwata omuntu eyawambibwa obuwambibwa bamubawa naye nga badde amisinga for the last 6 days. Ndi wano okubagamba okutyoboola eddembe ly'obuntu tekusosola oba olyani. Ekyo kitutwaliramu ffenna bannamawulire, bannayuganda, ffenna kintu kutyoboola ddembe ly'obuntu n'okulinnyirira enfuga ya ssemateeka. Tuveeyo tukivumirire kubanga si musango ate ssemateeka atuwa ebbeetu eryo. Ffe tukeera ku makya ne tusasula omusolo. Gavumenti kyerina otuddiza kyokka bwe buweereza. Ezo ssente zaffe bannayuganda, essente ze tusasulamu General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, ze tusasulamu abakulembeze baffe ababaka ba paalamenti, ze tusasulamu baminisita, expenditure yonna gye batwala ey'amaanyi. Ako kasente kaffe ka muwi wa musolo. Gwalime mwanyi, gwatunda ka retail shop, n'omwana azaaliddwa eyakazaalibwa mu ddwaliro naye asasula omusolo. So ffe tetusaba kintu kitono nnyo, tusaba buweereza, tusaba ebyentambula ebirungi, tusaba ebyobulamu ebirungi, tusaba ebyenjigiriza ebirungi, tusaba engabanya y'emirimu eya bonna regardless nti ono ava mu family ava mu nju eno bweti. Ffenna bannayuganda tuvumirira obulyake. Ebyo ebikola tetuzza musango we tuvaayo ne tubyogerako era ne tubivumirira. Nze ndi mugumu, I'm strong. Cause eno ye last step sofa ndowooza gye mbadde sinnaba kuyitamu. Era nze tewali kigenda kunzikakkanya. Yes, for a meantime kigenda kumpisa bubi emotionally, naye manyi with time it will come to pass. Oba when oba ddi, naye after all kyendiko mmanyi tekimenya mateeka. Sisobola keera ku makya ne ntandika okwevuma His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine. Sisobola keera ku makya ne okutambuza ideology. Sisobola keera ku makya kulwanirira ddembe lya buntu n'enfuga eya ssemateeka. Banaye mbeebaza mwenna bannayuganda era nkiddamu. Dr. Kizza Besigye ali Luzira Upper Prison. Dr. Obedi Kamulegeya, baganda baffe bamachete, baganda baffe ba Bobi Yanga, muganda wange Eddie Mutwe Akirewo Kivumbi Smart Wakabi, muganda waffe Mugumya Gaddafi, ne bannayuganda bangi nnyo bannaye batwetaaga. Abo baganda baffe bali mu ndeeyo ffe tulina okugezaako okubasitulira eddoboozi. So bannayuganda mbeebaza nnyo. Osanga singa temwateekawo maanyi, osanga munnange nange sandibadde wabweru wano. Toko n'ekitongole kye Agola, mwannyinaze Agatha, mainstream medias, for real I will thank you. Mainstream medias nga siyawudde mainstream medias mwenna nja beebazaako ensusso omulimu gwe mwakola okunnoonya n'okunteeka mu media okuba story yange. Banaye nja kubeebaza nenzija ku bannayuganda mwenna nga siyawuddemu nentuuka ku mukulembeze wange, mukwano gwange era leader wange His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. Nkwebaza tata, nkwebaza mama Babi Itungo Kyagulanyi, naawe nkwebaza SG David Lewis Lubongoya. Musajja oyo akola butaweera, musajja oyo tawummula, atambudde, atufuddeko nnyo. Benjamin Katana, Loop Joel Senyonyi, bannaye tubeebaza, mwebalire ddala ono.
Okay, no angenda kusaba
Toko.
Yeah, I'm going to engage the audience, but oinawo kokozao something very very important where you mentioned Besigye and Lutale and others. Now, I must say for those who are listening into this space that we organize this space as part of the ongoing project that we're running about the political prisoners in Uganda. And if you want to know how serious this problem is, I'm going to spend the next maybe 1 or 2 minutes to read some of the names we have. There are so many names. I'll just read for you some of the names. So that we can make it about all of them. I have with me here a list of 58 people who were abducted between 2021 and this year. Some of them, they are different files. Some of them as far back as then, 2021, and some of them. And you see, this is a list that we last updated in March. So between then and now, there are so many more people who have gone missing. So we have Siraji Agulibo, we have Hamza Andama, we have Ida Kasim, we have Ratib Buga. Now, all those four were charged with treachery and unlawful possession of ammunition. All these guys have been in jail. Then we have another team. These ones, so that first team, they're in Chigo prison and they were charged by the court martial. The next team is people in Chitalia Minimax prison. These are Yasin Sechitoleko alias Machete, Musa Kavuma, Givisiwa Abudala, Sharif Kalanzi, Joseph Muonge, Jimmy Galukande, Emma Kato Umaru, Abdallah Chintu, Faizo, Patrick Mwase. Now, that's a very, very special group of people. These people have been in prison since, I think, 11th or 10th of May 2021. These people were arrested on the eve of President Museveni's inauguration after the 2021 elections, and they've been in jail for that long. So you can just imagine how this ridiculous this is. These guys have been in jail for a period of close to 5 years almost now. Okay, 4 years, but going to 5 years. And these guys were a group of people who were arrested together with 34 others. The state coerced, forced, or hoodwinked the others into taking a deal that they confessed to the offenses, which clearly they never committed. And some of them were released, but these ones still remain in jail. The person on my profile status, my profile, and the one on Agatha's profile, that is Machete, who has been in jail for that long as part of this team. The next group are in Wulira Upper Prison. So you have Anthony Agaba, who is also known as Bobby Young. You have Faizo Miti. You have Stuart Lugendo. You have Savio Paul. You have Julius Molinda. You have Muhammad Nyanzi Makunji. You have Muhammad Mukumbi Mosh. You have Isa Kato. You have Godfrey Agodri. You have you have Paul Liamuremie. You have Alex Bogere. You have Robert Senyonga. You have John Masembe. You have Hakim Senyonjo. Sorry about that. You have Sylvester Matovu. You have Derek Kavuma. You have Tony Sekanchomba. You have Sam Sengozi Luanga. You have Arthur Ndaula, aka Ghetto King. You have Frank David Semogere, alias Ndugwa. Now, these guys have been in jail since 2021 as well. Most of them, the first one, Agaba was charged with spreading hateful propaganda against the government of Uganda. Very, very ridiculous charge, as you can hear it, a mouthful there. Then the next group are charged with murder, aggravated robbery, and treachery. Now, all these guys are in Wulira Upper Prison. That file has 20 names. That one that I've just read. I mean, that prison, the one of Wulira Upper Prison, it has 20 people. Then you have another group in Wulira who are remanded by civilian court. So the first ones are remanded by the court martial. So you have Vincent Senyonga Watachala. You have Ibrahim Mwonge. You have Patrick Opio. You have Hamidu Muyodi. You have Suleiman Mare. You have Wilbur Kairugara. You have Isa Makumbi. You have Abdallah Katumba. You have Rashid Sebagala. You have Salim Sekabembe. You have Hamidu Sechide. You have Abdu Katumba. You have Wycliffe Makabai and Mustafa Lure. Now, this group is in Wulira prison, and they've been there since 2022 or 2023. Some of them 2022 and some of them 2023, and they've all been charged with terrorism. So before I read the next set of names, I'm going to say at this point that in the next segment, I'm going to ask members of the audience to contribute. So I see there are people who have asked for the microphone. Sometimes people just ask for the microphone and they don't mean it. But if you want to speak, now is the time to ask for the microphone as I read the next set of names. Yeah, now in Chigo prison.
Toko.
Yes, please.
Tonyo, ngogenda kugondi. Tagadde mpiseewo kano Toko.
Okay.
Kuba manyi platform eno tulinako baganda baffe ba elites naddala ba lawyers. Nandisabye Uganda Law Society aba ne bannamateeka bali kuno bambi take some time you visit those prisons. Abaana bangi bali eyo, abamu bifayiro poliisi zaffe muzimanyi zireeta bifayiro abaana ne babasulayo busuuzi eyo, tebaliiko buyambi n'emisango basinga tebagiza. So it's my humble request to all lawyers at least to get some time and visit all prisons in Uganda. Mutuukeeyo ko baganda bange beegayiridde bwegayirizi. Baganda baffe abasobola mutuukeeyo ko muyambe ku baganda baffe. N'ekirala toko nzikiriza neebaze ku bakanso bano. Njagala kwebaza kanso George Musisi, kanso Muyizi, kanso Nanteza Juliet, nja kwebaza kanso L2 Jonathan ne Legal Team ya National Unity Platform. Banaye mwenna abakola obutaweera regardless oba omwana wa kibiina ki, as long as is a political prisoner, as long as is persecuted basing on politics over his or her affiliation. Nyo baga
Okay.
Toko akaziralo kankate eyanza nnyo.
So just mute or so is it possible?
Okay.
So that in case someone asks you a question, you can come in. We're going to wrap up the question part.
So
I just wanted to read other names to show the magnitude of the problem we have, and also to make it about as many political prisoners as we can. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank God I speak fast. So I'm going to just run through the next set of names. In Chigo Prison, we have Juma Musuza, we have Emmanuel Nabugwadi. We have Isaiah Sekagiri, you have Julius Tayewa, you have David Sengozi, you have Gordon Muzale. Now, all these are TikTok users on that particular file. They're in Chigo Prison. They were remanded for allegedly using their social media to either spread hate speech against the president. I see all of them here, hate speech, computer misuse, all of them against President Museveni, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, and Janet Museveni. The one who was remanded to Kampala Remand. Kampala Remand is a section in Wulira. Is William Chisaka. Computer misuse against the president. There's a file that has 3 people: Achileo Chivumbi, Gaddafi Mugumia, and Smart Wakabi. These were charged with aggravated robbery and they've been in prison since early this year. The final one is the one of Edward Sebofo, alias Eddie Mutwe, who I added today. I had not updated the list, but today I had to add him because someone reminded me. He's at Masaka Central Prison. Now you can see their names I haven't read, like the name of Robert Kayingo, whom we can add to this list. There is similarly to Robert Kayingo, there is a professor from South Africa who came back to Uganda, and he went to Nairobi, actually, not Uganda. He was abducted from Nairobi and disappeared. He's called Brightish Daniel Mazinga. I've not even read his name. So for those who may be having doubts, it's really an issue. It's really a big issue that we face as a country right now. That you have all these people. These are people's children, people's husbands, people's breadwinners, sole breadwinners, maybe fathers, and they're in jail because someone just feels like, well, I can weaponize the criminal justice system and get my way around it. So without further ado, let me now engage the audience. I see many people have asked for the microphones. So if I call your name and you don't respond, I'm going to take it that you probably asked for the microphone by mistake. But if you get the microphone, please just go straight to the point. If you can, that saves us a lot of time. So let's start with Joweria N. Muhammad. If you're speaking, Joweria, your microphone is muted. You'll just have to unmute and then speak into it. Okay, Luanga Kasim. Luanga Kasim, are you able to speak? Can I be heard? So that I'm sure. Yvette or Noah, can you hear me?
Call it Toko.
Yes, we can.
Did they ask for the microphone by mistake? Doreen, are you there? Doreen Katusime, can you hear me? Can you ask your question or make a comment? Doreen Katusime, if you're speaking, your microphone is unfortunately muted. Oh, this is quite interesting. Okay, but fortunately, I see more people have asked for the microphone, so I'll just hand it over to them. Isaac Opolot. Okay, so I've handed the microphone to other people as well. Unfortunately, they're not showing on my dashboard. Yes, Augusta, can you hear me? Augusto Sochiru at Gmail something. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, sir. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Participate. Make your question. Ask your question.
Yeah, I'm all the way from Nairobi currently. So I wanted to put a question. If at all the opposition can come together, then we make sure the dictator we have removed him from the presidency.
Okay, thank you. Isaac Opolot. The person using the account of Center for something, please mute your microphone. You're getting a feed from your microphone. Please mute it. Otherwise, they're going to be forced to take out the microphone from you. Isaac Opolot. Isaac, if you're speaking, your microphone is muted, so we can't hear you actually. Okay. Luanga Kasim. Quite interesting, isn't it? Center for the person using the account called Center for Saving Uganda's Democracy. But you're going to make it brief because I want to give other folks a chance. You're always active on this and we appreciate it, but just make it brief. The person using the account called Center for Saving Uganda's Democracy, do you want to submit now? Oh, quite interesting. And then Jamal, Food Supply and Delivery. Okay, this is quite interesting. So Luanga can't speak, so I'll ask the admin to take away his microphone. Augusto has spoken, so yeah, same thing, we take away his microphone. Jamal, Food Supply and Delivery, if you can speak now, it will be very good. If you can't, that's unfortunate. We'll have to take away the microphone as well. 3 people have asked for the microphone. Who are those? And I hope these ones are willing and ready to speak. Joweria N. Muhammad, you had the microphone earlier, but I'm going to give it to you again in case you want to speak now. Okay. Joweria, are you able to speak?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, but it's not a bit clear. I don't know if you're using something.
Okay, now.
Much better, please.
Nze njagala kukulisaayo Noah Mutwe n'okusaasira banene abali mu kunoonya taata waabwe gwe bawambira ku airport. Naye ng'Abannayuganda kitukakatako ffenna oba omuntu tomumanyi oba tomulabangako okubanja eddembe lya buli muntu yenna oba abuziddwawo oba akoze eki netumanya.
Jamal, Food Supply, please mute your microphone.
N'ekirala toko kyenjagala okubuuza nti nalabako wano ku X nga bagamba nti Wabobya nga bagenda kumuleeta mu court martial week ejja oba nga nnya. Is it true?
Okay.
Then
please mute your microphone, Joweria, now.
No, wait. Then another thing.
Okay, yes.
We have so many people in jail. Tebalina ba lawyer, tebamanyi lwaki bali eyo. So nze njagala kusaba ba lawyer basobola okukola voluntarily nga tobasasulwa batambuleko mu magundi mu makomera ag'enjawulo bagoberera abo abantu. In 2021 we twali twakava mu kalulu bakwata abantu bangi naye ng'okusinga babatwala mu barracks ebbombo. Shamim Malende yabeeranga eyo bonna abaana n'abawolereza ne basobola okubata naye nga baali bangi nga tebamanyi lwaki babasiba babateekateekako ebisango naye nga bakola bakumirwa mu barracks ebbombo. So ba lawyers abali kuno oba banawulira mu kikole ku lw'eggwanga lya mu Uganda n'okusevinga Abannayuganda abatalina mwasirizi. Your submission yange. Thank you.
Thank you, Joweria. Mute now. Okay, so thank you. The feedback was not the best. My voice is not the best to hear when I'm talking. But yes, wabuza kucha Agaba Anthony alias Bobby Young. Omusango gwe gugenda kudda mu court nga 11 August next month 11 negenda kubeera mu high court agenda kuddayo mu court martial. Akantu nange nakalaba ne mbuuzako ne bagamba nti kaliko court martial lwakuba omusango gye gwatandikira naye kati omusango gwe guli ku high court sagenda kudda ku high court nga 11th August 11 omwezi ogujja not omwaka ogujja so lwa tujja kubaawo tujja kigoberera era ebinavaayo tujja bagamba. Your appeal to the lawyers, I think that's very, very important that all of us do what we can for the good of the nation. Thank you very much. And I think Noah had similar appeal. Now, I see that there are no more microphones. There are no more requests for microphones. I don't know if that is because people don't want to speak. I see Mr. Amazing UG. Mr. Amazing UG, you're not showing on the dashboard here, but if you have the microphone, please unmute and speak. Yes. Mr. Amazing UG, do you want to speak now?
Yeah, hello, Toko. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
All right, good evening, good afternoon here. This is Mr. Amazing. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts, United States, and part of Noah Mutwe's team of administrators. We have been the ones running the pages in his absence.